All right, folks, don't touch that dial because coming up next, the number one team in the fastest growing brokerage in the world. That's right, Andrew Franklin of the Franklin team coming up next on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it. All right, and here he is coming in hot, right? Fresh from Scottsdale, Arizona. Andrew, let's go ahead and bring Andrew on, Trelvis, if we could. I want to welcome you, Andrew, back for your, this is like the 6-month checkup from the neck up, right?
Yes, sir, man. Just got back and newly married, so it doesn't feel like all that much has changed, but it was quite a good 10 days that we had.
Well, you know what? I like I said in the intro here, you're the leader of the pack. In fact, you were telling us a little short story about what your dad said. You guys just got married, and what was it that your dad commented when he was speaking at your wedding?
Yeah, so my dad was my best man, and he ended a pretty good speech. Talked about how I had some theft as a 6-year-old, stole some chromies from some neighbors' houses. I was an entrepreneur at 6, basically. But then the way he ended it was, usually you'll end the best man speech with, "I hope you guys start a family soon," but in true Andrew and Brittany high achieving fashion, they already got that. So they already have a 4-month-old. And so we did everything backwards. Moved in, kid, and marriage last.
Well, you know what? At least you're in a great spot right now, and congratulations. And I can tell that smile. That's the smile of a proud father and now a husband. So we're just so excited to see you and love to see that happy, positive energy that you're exuding now, Andrew. And congratulations again.
Thanks, fellas.
So, audience members, for those of you who don't know who Andrew is and his team, he's got one of the top teams. I guess you guys are 1 and 2 with another team down there in Houston, but you guys have put some really impressive numbers on the board, and I'm going to ask C3 here just to give us a little kind of some of the highlights of the business that you guys have done. C3?
Sure, yeah. So the Franklin team last year closed approximately 1,800 homes, and that equated to about 600 million in production. The Houston Business Journal has them ranked as the top 25 realtor since 1996 to date, and ranked number 2 for gross dollar volume of closed sales in 2020 for a large team in the city of Houston. Ranked number 2 for transactions closed in 2020 for a large team in Houston. The Wall Street Journal talked about how it has you ranked that you're number 16 in the country for the amount of transactions by a mega team, and ranked number 18 in the country for sales volume by a mega team. And EXP actually gave you the award, I think it was last year, for number 1 team in EXP Realty for 2020. So that's some pretty big stuff. I've left a few others out. Number 1 team in Grand Central Park in 2019, number 1 team in Harvest Green in 2019, number 1 team in Jordan Rich in 2019, number 1 team in Cane Island in 2016. I mean, it just goes on. The list of accolades here, it's just really, really powerful, man.
Yeah, I guess you and Deion Sanders probably have the same size trophy room. I would guess, Andrew. But give us a little history here. You're obviously not old enough to have been around for the 50 years that you guys the family's been in the real estate business. Take us back a little bit for the members of the audience here that are watching that don't know your history. How did this all get started?
Yeah, so I was born in 1985, and the history starts before that. So my dad got into the real estate business in 1982. He got laid off from a job and decided to give real estate a try. And, no rhyme or reason. He just thought, he could be good at it and didn't have a grand plan, didn't graduate college. And was, as he will say, pretty insignificant up until that point as far as his achievements went. Real estate, he had a knack for it. He had a knack for treating people the right way, building relationships. And right off the bat, he was pretty good. Started his career at Century 21 for about 3 years, and then went to a rather unknown company at that time, just because he wanted to keep more of his commissions. He went to Remax. At the time back then in Houston, Century 21 had something like 50% market share. So it was massive back then. And he found a niche very early in his career with home builders. So he would partner with mostly production home builders and offer some programs around those home builders for them to refer their clients that did not have a realtor. And that was his niche. Pretty much from the 90s to early 2000s, he was a top 3, 4, 5 realtor in the city of Houston. Then when we bought the business back, it's going on about 8 years ago, he was doing probably 500 to 600 deals with just him and 3 or 4 producing agents. So he was heavy into production, still going on listings when we bought the business. And then what we wanted to do, we really wanted to take what he had and not only not screw it up, but also build a legacy for ourselves. So we wanted to grow it. And that's what we did. We grew agent count, we've grown production, and then we've also created some ancillary businesses around our real estate business that feeds, that is fed by that real estate business since then. So it's been quite a ride, but my dad did the hard part for sure.
When you guys bought the business, first of all, you say we. Who all was involved with you to acquire the business from your dad?
So me and my sister, and then a third partner that was sort of my dad's right hand man for a lot of the growth years. So I think at this point, been with my dad for 10, 12, 13, 14 years, something around there. I always forget the timeline. And the three bought it back. I joined about 8 years ago, and I think my dad stayed in his role for about a year. So I think we were going on about 7 years. Bought the business from my dad. Obviously, he's still very involved in certain aspects of the business, not really the Franklin team side, but more the EXP side of things. But yeah, we bought the business from my dad over a seller note, a 5-year seller note. And we actually extended that to longer than 5 years because things were going so well for all of us, and keep getting him paid.
Wow, that's awesome. That is really awesome. So, when you guys did your dad own a Remax franchise, or what was his structure when you guys actually made the deal with him?
So he owned a Remax franchise at one point. And then very early on, he decided to sell that Remax franchise to his partner. So the last, I don't know, I think since 2000, we didn't own a Remax franchise, and we came to EXP in 2018. So the last almost 20 years at Remax, we were just a team within a Remax franchise.
Okay, all right, I see. Very good, very good. And so you guys decided to merge or come in and hop on the EXP platform. What precipitated that? What was it that caused you to make such? That's a pretty bold move for a team that was as successful as yours already on its own.
Yeah, for us, it wasn't because we were going to EXP. Candidly, it was we were going to leave Remax. We're going to find the best fit for us. And so we had made a decision that what we were paying and the value we were getting just didn't add up. My dad's a broker, my mom's a broker, so we were like, hey, we don't think we're getting a value for the fees that we're paying, and so let's just go independent if we don't find something better. And on that, I had a coaching call with dear friends of mine and now business partners, Kevin Kaufman and Fred Weaver. And I told them on a coaching call, we're going to leave Remax. Don't know where we're going to go. They told me, we haven't told our team, but we're leaving KW. You should look at this EXP thing. And I said, yeah, I've heard a little bit about them. I guess I'll go and talk to the local franchise and figure out if I can buy a franchise. That conversation took place. So that's how little I knew. I did a little bit of research, jumped on a Zoom with Kevin, Fred, and Curtis. And about 5 minutes after that Zoom, I said, we're going to EXP. We'll figure out the rest later. I introduced it to my dad, even though he wasn't a decision maker anymore. We still valued his opinion. We still do. He took a look at it about 5 minutes, said, what are you guys waiting for? This is a life-changing opportunity. And my other business partners felt the same way. And we took a little bit longer. We took about 3 months. It felt like we went immediately, but with a team that size, it wasn't a decision making of when we're going to go. It's just, we're going to go as soon as we can get ready. So it took about 3 months for us to join. So we were about 3 months behind Kevin and Fred. So they hadn't made the move when they told us about it.
Yeah, you hear a lot of single independent agents saying, well, I don't want to have to get new signs and new business cards. This must have been a major undertaking for you guys to do all of your rebranding, remarketing, and so forth. So you had to have made quite a financial investment in that move as well, huh?
Yeah, I remember looking at the numbers with Fred and Kevin and comparing. I'm an ex-investment banker on Wall Street, so I'm a finance guy. I'm an Excel spreadsheet guy. I remember telling Fred, like, okay, at Remax, with everything we're paying is about 90 grand, and pro forma back what we were doing back then 3 years ago, we were going to pay EXP about 100 grand. And I told Fred, hey man, I'm not going to a place and paying $10,000 more. And Fred told me, I'll never forget this, if you're worried about $10,000, you're missing the opportunity here. And I remember that was an email. I remember getting that email and thinking, like, what is he talking about? And then I did a little bit more research and I figured it out pretty quickly. So we didn't even look at that stuff. We felt like once we understood the opportunity at EXP that what we were paying EXP, we would be paid to be here. So the little cost that we would pay them up front or the cost to move, that was going to be insignificant compared to what we were going to get from the company. And luckily we were right. I think when we joined September 2018, there was like 12 or 13,000 agents in the US. Now we're approaching 65,000. No one knew who EXP was in Houston. And now I get people coming up to me all the time saying, man, I see so many EXP signs in Houston. So it's been a wild ride, man, but one of the best business decisions we've ever made.
Okay, so let's pop the hood on this for a second and look underneath here, because a lot of agents probably that are watching right now that may be thinking some of the same things you were thinking. You kind of just, when you said it went by, and I want to break it down a little bit here. You said $10,000. If you're worried about that, Fred said you're missing the opportunity, and then you said, and sure enough, he was right. Explain to us what the rest of the opportunity was and why it was such a good decision in the end to come over.
So it's multiple different reasons. I mean, just from I'll touch on one of the more powerful ones at the end of this, but the two biggest ones for us from a financial perspective, to us, it was a financial decision, right? We loved Remax. We loved our local broker. But if we could put ourselves, our family, and our agents and their families in a better financial position, that's why you have a broker. It's not because I'm buddies. I'll leave EXP tomorrow if there's a better opportunity for my family and my agents. I mean, I've looked at stuff since I've been at EXP, and I just haven't found anything better. But the two biggest things, we've made over $2 million just in stock gains since we've been at the company. There's 5 ways to accumulate stock at the company, 4 of which you get awarded. The 5th you can buy, as you know. And we've shown over a $2 million gain in those 5 different ways. And the funny thing is, we didn't really care about the stock when we joined. What we were excited about was the revenue share piece of it, and we've been okay at that. I think we're in the top 100-ish at the company, so not blowing anyone away. We're not up there with you guys, but that's been a life-changing move for us. I mean, I think last month we're going to get to a pretty cool number, a six-figure a month kind of number very, very soon. We think in the next 12 to 18 months. And we don't spend a ton of time on it. It's just more relationship building and showing people the opportunity. So those two things from a financial perspective have been life-changing for us, the rev share and the stock. But really, the coolest thing that you don't understand until you come here is the relationships you create and how the financial alignment will help your real estate business. So we've been around 40 years, and our growth. If you look at, I spoke at the Dallas Build Conference, and I put a chart up of our growth over the last 40 years, and it was like small every year, and then like 2018, like you had a hockey stick. And I truly believe it was because now I have so many more business partners helping me grow my business, figuring out ways to tips and tricks and tactics, like you say in your intro. I've had more tricks and tactics than I ever had at any other place, because people are willing to share at a higher level here because we are business partners. So I think that part is hard to understand until you get here.
By the way, I've tripped over it a few times.
Yeah.
Tips, tricks, and tactics. That's really important, and I think it's such an intangible. It's hard. It's not necessarily. It's part culture, part business model with the financial alignment, like you said. But it is something. It's probably the most powerful individual thing there is the synergy that takes place when you put this many smart people in the same room, and they're no longer, fighting over turf. Now they're fighting over conquering the world, right? How are we going to help you, get to the top fastest so we can all win this thing together? And, I always use the, it's all for one and one for all thing, but it really is. And so your hockey stick, the way that your real estate, let's just talk about your real estate business for a minute, because, what your dad built on and what he created, the builders, boy, that's a whole nother topic we could probably talk for a long time on. But, you guys realized, or you did, the management of your team leadership realized that you needed to augment parts of your business, lead generation and so forth, because the traditional way that you guys had grown was kind of, that put a top on your growth. So you decided to pivot and you changed your real estate model. Tell us a little bit about what you've done in the past year or two to change the way you guys are driving your business now.
Yeah, so I would say we took a focus on just lead generation around home builders and getting referrals from them, and we still have that in place, and we still get referrals. It's still a big part of our business. But what we did was we took so much information from relationships we've built at the company, and put it into our business, from getting more business from what I call the retail side, right? Our sphere, open houses, purchasing leads and all that stuff. And so all those, what I say, traditional retail business improved greatly because I just basically what I call R&D, right? Rip off and duplicate. And at this company, people are willing to share at a much higher level because we're all shareholders in the company. I don't know how many times, I've talked to Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle and you guys and all these people that they might not have a financial revenue share payment when I close a house, but because we're at the company, people are just willing to share at a higher level. And it's really shortcutted our growth. And so what we're doing now is we're adding more agents than we ever have. We've had more sort of systems and expectations around, lead generating and follow up and systems within our CRM. So I just feel like we took what we were really good at, the builder business, and we learned how to be good at what other realtors do on a day-to-day basis that don't have the realtor business, which I think we weren't that good at before.
How have you grown your team? How many agents do you have now? And I think you mentioned that you recently added an ISA department, right? Am I
Yeah.
correct?
That's right, Cliff. We were probably 10 agents when we came to when we went from Remax to EXP, and we're up to 25 now. And we'll probably get to this time next year, hopefully north of 40. If we really continue to refine our systems, I think we could get to 100 agents in that period of time if we want to. We were really at that inflection point of our business that we could really turn it on, and there's no limit to growth. And part of that, with realtors sometimes and being busy and follow up and calling the lead in time, we think that ISAs are the future of having a really big real estate team and getting realtors, agents, the ability to just go on an appointment and do what they do best, sell and handle a client and not worry about calling a lead within the first 5 minutes and following up 12 times. And so we created an ISA department. Again, a referral from an EXP agent. We hired or we paid Hatch Coaching to coach us up with our ISA department. And 2 months later, we had two ISAs that were converting appointments and closing deals. Which anytime anyone ever brought up an ISA, I was like, oh, that'll be a 20-year project. I don't think we're anywhere close to doing that. But all that growth really is because EXP has sort of opened my eyes that there's so many people in the company that are willing to help you grow your business. And you just got to ask them. And I ask people for help a lot. So.
Wow, that's really interesting. Your perspective and how many deals did you do last year? Was it 1,800? Wow, and that was with COVID thrown in on top, right? What
Yeah.
and now we've got a very tough market that we're in. What's your run rate now? What are you looking to do for 2021?
So not, I'm proud of this because the builder business has gone from about 60% of our business to 40%. So the referrals have gone way down. We're going to be about flat this year with really the builder business sort of going away overnight, and it's continuing to go down. So we're going to be about flat. I think we'll be right around the same volume and transaction in GCI, probably more profitable because builder business is a little bit less profitable because how you have to get it. So pretty proud of that, honestly. We've grown like every year except 2008, and my dad's 40 years in the business, so that's a little hard on the super competitive person I am, but given what's happened to a big piece of our business, I think it's a pretty good accomplishment and proud of my team because of it.
Well, you said something that most real estate agents are just clueless about, and that's profitability. And I hate to, I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but all of the franchises and all the awards are given for production. They're not given for did
Yeah.
you make any money. And so,
Yeah.
we've got some of these mega teams that are, working on a 5 or 10% margin. And there's independent agents just making as much money as those team leaders or more and working much less. What you just hit on is really key. You're actually retooling your business now so that as you said, it's more of a retail kind of business where your margins are going to be better. And you've now got. I think you're creating your own opportunities instead of relying on somebody to create opportunities for you. And God knows where the
Yeah.
builders are going to be. I've read so many different thoughts on the builders are overbuilding now. If you look at the population growth and things and so forth. But the relationship that agents have had with builders has always been a little bit sketchy. They love us in the bad times, and they don't need us, when things are going, really well. So, I think it's good not to have all of your eggs in one basket and to diversify the way you guys are doing. So, what are your plans then for the next couple of years? Are you going to continue to grow, and what do you expect the builder portion of your business to be, say, in the next year or two?
I think as the market gets a little bit more balanced, which it's got to, our builder business is going to come back. The makeup of when we get a referral from a builder is when their sales cycle is 2 3 weeks, a month, where they're talking to a consumer, and that consumer needs to figure out what their house is worth, and they need to think about if they're going to move forward. When the sales cycle is a day like it is now, where the home they want is going to be gone unless they put a contract, we just don't get the referral. So I am bullish that it will come back once it's more balanced. But as far as which will be make us extremely strong, right? We've worked on other pieces of our business. Our goal is to continue to refine that retail division and have way more systems so we can continue to sort of add fuel to the fire, meaning get more leads for our agents. But our goal is to really spend time. It's a dirty word to a lot of people, and it's not a dirty word to us. We're going to continue to recruit agents, put them in a position to be successful within our organization. And when we feel like we have really figured that out, where we can take a brand new agent or an agent that struggled elsewhere and make them successful within our organization, we're gonna light fuel to the fire, and really grow to 50, 75, 100 agents. We're not there yet. I'm not confident enough that we're getting a lot better, but I do think in the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to be at that stage. And I think from there, it's just a question of plugging people in that are the right culture fit for your company.
I think what you're saying, I wish we could just echo that through the mountains, because it's so important. If there are agents or people contemplating getting into this business, this is a really difficult entry point right now, because the market, it's almost like aliens landed and sprayed stupid juice on people. I mean, we've got builders that are opening up subdivisions, and it's almost like the auction, method, where if you want to get a build site, you've got to go in and make offers, and it's just like a competitive, bid it up and hope that, you're not overpaying for it and it'll appraise and everything. I mean, it's absolutely insane, what's going on right now. So if you are new in the business, and this is just words of 37 years of wisdom and 50 years of wisdom that this young man has accumulated between him and his dad. But, what word would you have, Andrew, and why would it be, if you were to get back into this business again? Obviously you joined a team for a reason, but why would you suggest that someone getting into the business now look at joining a team instead of trying to, crunch it out on their own?
I think you get a crash course on what it takes to be successful. And in the meantime, you get transactions under your belt, because that team leader is investing a lot, not only in leads, but systems around getting you closings. Because what we realize as team leaders is, if we don't get agents closings, we're going to leave our team. And it takes a lot of time and effort to bring people in our organization and get them trained, and our sales manager and our VP of ops spend a lot of time. And so we're not bringing people on so we can bring on a new person and replace that other person 3 months later. We want to bring someone on that's the right fit, that will be at our company hopefully for a couple years or more. And so with the team, even if you want to create your own team, go learn from a successful team and leave after 6 months if you feel like you can do it on your own. But what you're going to get is closings, which can pay some bills for you. But you're gonna get the knowledge that you can have that shortcut. So I think joining a team is the right fit for almost all new agents. But I think it could be a fit for almost any kind of agent, just so they can learn a lot that they couldn't sort of do on their own, or get there as quick on their own.
In the traditional team setting, Andrew, in order for people to move up, they typically had to move out. Like if you were at and I'll go back to MREA or pick any of the team models, because you were pigeonholed as a buyer's agent, and that's all you were allowed to do. What's different about your team, and in particular about being here at EXP? What other opportunities are there for people after they perfect, being a buyer agent on your team? What happens when somebody leaves?
So we have a lot of upward mobility options at our team. As a matter of fact, my best producing agent, she was a stager at one point. Then she became a business development rep, and now she's her and her husband are making over $500,000 a year together on the team. And so she's been in three roles. My VP of Ops, who will soon be president of the company. She was in another role at the team, and she was sort of outgrew that position. So we had another agent on the team that's now sales manager. So the reason we want to grow our team is to give people bigger opportunities within our world. And so the bigger we grow, the people that are so talented are going to grow out of that position. We want to have a position they can grow into, because we feel like if we accumulate the best talent, our team's going to be the best. So we are constantly trying to grow so we can give an opportunity. But specifically, I mean, we've had people go from one company to the next because we have a title company, a hard money lending business, and a real estate investing business. So we have opportunities within those. But then on the EXP side, what I love about the opportunity at EXP is I've had agents leave my team and go create their own team, but they stay at EXP, and I'm going to help them because we are still business partners. So that's another unique opportunity that EXP offers, and that's happened to us. We've had several people that left on very good terms, and they just wanted to do their own thing, and I'm rooting for them if that's what they think is the best fit for them, and I'm actually helping them as well because of how the structure of EXP works.
Traditionally, that's been people have been afraid to do that because they felt like they were training their competition, right? But the reality
Yeah.
is, and I want to hear what your plans are for scaling. This is not a franchise model. You aren't limited geographically in terms of where you can grow. And I know you've got hundreds of people that you've brought on through your revenue share group. What's your
Uh-huh.
vision in the long term? Where do you see the next generation of the Franklin team? How big is your footprint going to be, and where are you going to be?
So as far as rev share, I mean, we're very bullish on this opportunity still being very new at EXP. Like I believe EXP is going to go to 250,000 agents in the next couple of years just in the States. So I hear that now. It's like, oh, it's grown so much. So we are spending time trying to help and grow our rev share group. So I think we're in 20 states now in multiple different countries. From a Franklin team perspective, there's still so much opportunity in Houston. At some point, maybe we would go into maybe Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin from a Franklin team perspective. But from an international footprint, that's all sort of our revenue share side. We feel like we still own a very small piece of the market in Houston, and we're going to focus more on growing our footprint in the Houston market from the Franklin team perspective.
But let's say somebody from your team, maybe a spouse, gets transferred to Denver. You're still going to be able to help and support them, right, when they go
Absolutely.
and start to work up there, which is just so unique. It's such a, this is the one place where that can happen. That's really interesting. So I want to ask you a little bit, Andrew. I know that the road to fame and success that you guys have experienced has not always been without its bumps. What are some of those times that you look back at that were your defining moments where you had to make some tough decisions, and the reason why you're here is because you made those decisions? Anything come top of mind?
I think as you grow any organization, and most organizations, you have to grow with more people, and with more people, there's more issues typically. When we took over the business, and there was 4 or 5 staff and 10 agents, 15 total people probably. Well, that was when we left Remax. When we took over the business, it was even smaller. It was probably 10 to 12 people total that my dad had. We now have 40 people on the Franklin team, with staff and agents, and so every tough decision we've ever made has been a people decision, where they weren't the right fit or they weren't in the right seat. Um, and those are hard because we pride ourselves very much in culture and being a family. But I think every time that decision was hard and we knew what the right thing was to do, it always propelled our company. So there's some instances that I can think of off the top of my head that we let go of someone that had worked for my dad for 20 plus years, and we knew probably the last 10 she wasn't the right fit, and we got thanked when she left by a lot of people because she was not a good fit, but that was someone I grew up with. And then other things were just, swallowing the pill that, okay, we're going to hire a VP of ops that was a 6-figure salary that we didn't have before, and we're going to hire a sales manager that we didn't have before, another big expense on the P&L. But every one of those decisions where we had to take a big gulp has propelled us to do other things, right? Put good people in good situations and freed up our time to have the leverage to really grow one of our several different companies.
So how would you describe your leadership style, Andrew?
A lot of trust, not a lot of micromanagement, but definitely high expectations on customer service, professionalism. My dad has done a phenomenal job to have a very good reputation in the industry, treat people the right way, pay people very well. So we have a lot of people that have been with us a long time. But with that comes a lot of expectations within the organization to continue to have that reputation. And so whenever we feel like we don't, we make tough decisions that we don't want to make. But very no micromanagement in our world, man. We want to have good people and let them run within our confines of our organizations.
It sounds like the entrepreneurial part of you is just an extension in the team, which is also part of the beautiful thing about EXP. I mean, it's built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. Do you guys have a particular hiring system? How do you identify and then pick the right people for your team?
So typically our best hires are ones that are in our world already, and we've had a relationship. We knew the kind of character they have. We knew the work. They knew that they were already a friend, so they're going to care about the company. A lot of our best hires have been that way. But as you get bigger, you can't just rely on that. And so, yeah, we do personal assessments. Everyone that either if it's an agent meets with our sales manager first, or our VP of ops if it's more of an admin. So they do a personal assessment, then an in-person interview, and then we have a couple different rounds of interviews. But I mean, we do it from personal relationships, social media, and we always have job postings out there. We're probably more of the quick to hire, quick to fire rather than slow to hire, quick to fire, just because we feel like an interview, no matter how good you interview, doesn't do as much justice as once the person's in your organization, you can see the kind of person they are. So that's more our mentality. I'm not saying it's right. This is how we've done it.
Interesting. And so, how does the leadership team, the key people in leadership, how do you guys manage the strategic planning process of the company?
So we just paid a company called, have you ever heard of EOS,
Oh yeah,
Entrepreneurial
Gene
Operating
Gene
System?
Wickman, and of course, yeah,
Yep.
I've been using that for a number of years now. Yeah.
So we just started that. We just had our first session, and it's funny. A lot of the changes we've made in the last couple of years have already been sort of without that, but a lot of the regular meetings and all those sort of structure that we were lacking for a long time. But EOS is going to really sort of scale that up for us. So I actually have one of our level 10 meetings here in 45 minutes.
No kidding, man.
It's very formal now. And we're excited to roll more of that out. But that I think is going to really propel us as well.
Would you be kind enough to share with us some of your rocks for the next quarter?
So yeah, absolutely. We really need to. One of our biggest rocks is getting our onboarding system to not be done by our sales manager, but done with on Trainual and all put in video format. So we have the ability to add 10 agents on a month rather than just have a sales manager. So that's a huge rock for us. Um, and really everything is around systemizing, getting the agents into production quicker and faster and more successful quicker. So most of our rocks are around that. One of my personal rocks is to get better at YouTube and learn about YouTube, because we don't do anything on YouTube. Those are our big ones that I can think of off the top of my head. But the cool thing about the rocks is everyone has their own. So we have a leadership team of 5 people right now, and they're all working on their rocks, and we're about to talk about them in 45 minutes.
What a coincidence. Do you guys have your annual meeting on the calendar yet?
We don't yet. So we have our second, I guess we have our vision building day one next Monday. So we haven't even gone through all of the EOS yet. We just had our first day a month ago.
You actually hire a facilitator from the company? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, we hired a EOS implementer.
An implementer, yeah.
Nice.
So
That's
yeah, paying
fantastic.
them pay them about $6,000 a day when we meet with them. So
Yeah, yeah, it's worth every penny of it. You know, Perry
yeah,
Marshall wrote a book. Perry Marshall, the great internet marketer, and I think it was called 80/20. There was something about the Pareto rule. Gosh, I've got it on my bookshelf. I can't think of the name of it right now. But anyway, in there, he breaks down the activities that a business owner does and puts it in sort of into a financial return equivalent, right? And what he said was by far and away the most productive, highest paying activity as a business owner that you can do is strategic planning. And I think if we could get enough of us collectively to understand that and understand the importance of making sure that your navigation settings are in line with where you want to go, that really would help a lot of us propel a lot further down the road. Well, I am super excited about you and starting EOS. We'll definitely have to schedule another
yeah.
call here on Cliff's Notes to talk about how that's going for you. Andrew, is there anything? And just in deference to time here, we're about to run out of it, unfortunately, and I know you've got probably some more work to do before your meeting. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us? Any golden grand nuggets you'd like to drop on the audience?
No, I think anyone, if you run a real estate team and you're thinking about growing a team or not, I think the biggest advice I could give you is figure out bigger is not always better. That's sort of where we're going, and I think bigger for us has allowed us to give us a ton of different opportunities in the ancillary space. But the biggest piece I could tell agents, and I tell agents all the time that get some success and they immediately want to start a team and get to a big team, is that base it on numbers and what you're trying to get out of your business before you just say, okay, I'm going to go hire a bunch of agents, because that's not always the right fit for everyone. This fancy numbers and big numbers doesn't always mean it's the right fit for you. We had no choice because we were already big and we needed to go bigger. But that would be the one piece of advice to listeners is is really reflect on what you're trying to get out of your business first before you start thinking, so-and-so that you heard was exactly who you want to be.
Andrew, I'll tell you what, man, you are somebody that we all look up to, and we're following everything that you're doing here, because you're definitely blazing new trails at EXP and in the industry, and we're grateful to call you a friend and a business partner, and so always excited to have a chance to speak with you, which I guess we'll be doing that again in a couple of weeks in Vegas at EXP Con. And hey, by the way, if anybody in our audience wanted to get a hold of you, just to reach out, ring your bell, what's the best way to get a hold of Andrew Franklin?
Yeah, just any of the social media stuff. I'm very quick to answer Instagram messages or Facebook message, or you can Google my name, and my cell phone's on there too, and very accessible. And anything I can do to help anyone within the industry, whether they're EXP or not, glad to help. So feel free to reach out, and I'll give you everything I have. But fellas, I want to thank you guys too. Just the way you guys handle yourselves at the company. Y'all are some of the most well-respected people at the company, and y'all are, I know you don't talk about yourself a lot on this show, but you guys are the pioneers at the company, and you guys have been responsible for so much growth that it allowed people like us to be successful here. So kudos to y'all, and thank you.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, Andrew, coming from you. That means an awful lot. C3, did you have a last question for Andrew? Or
I think one last one before you leave. I just wanted to know when my invitation was open to come down to Blue Jack.
Oh,
hey man, we're
golf action.
next time you tell me you come to Houston, we will book a Blue Jack round, man.
But I saw your welcome round. That was so cool, where they did the when you teed off there, they called your name out and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to just take a little private plane down there and come see you. One of my buddies is a pilot, and we can make that happen, no problem.
He's a stick also. You talking about Luke? Yeah, Luke's a stick too. They played high school golf together.
I understand. Hey, come out here, man. If you haven't been out there, the way they make you feel at that place is bar none to any other place. It's just the service and
Hey, Jeffrey Whitespear's out there as well.
Don't we have a tee time in Vegas?
I have a tee time at the Wynn if you're looking to join. Join us
out. What day?
Open on Friday.
Friday the 12th at noon.
I'm flying back Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, darn.
That's too bad. All right.
Okay.
Well,
we'll come.
Yeah. No, I'm golfing. So Jeff is the reason. Again, EXP, right? Like Jeff is not in my rev share group. I'm not in his. We're quote unquote competitors, right? Like,
right. Same.
And Jeff's the reason I own out there. He bought from a guy that had another condo, so we're next door neighbors. We have a foursome tomorrow with my dad, my brother-in-law, and one agent on my team. And Jeff reached out to me, so Jeff's my fifth on today. So.
Wow, what a small world! That's
awesome,
so cool.
Man. That is really cool.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew. Well, hey, brother, it's great to see you. Congratulations, your beautiful new wife and 4-month-old baby, and what a great family. It's so great to, again, have you on the show. Trelvis, one last word here about that bet we made last weekend.
Might have to have a new one for this weekend.
Yeah, I think do I owe you some money for that, or what do we?
I think we'll call it even.
Are we gonna call it even?
Yeah, we'll call it even.
Okay.
What's the pickings for this weekend?
What are we doing? What are the Cowboys doing this weekend?
Oh man, you know what? I'll say they'll win. I don't know about how much, but I say they'll get the dub at least.
Okay, I think they got 12 W's in them this year at least.
I think we can count that in the bag.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
See. Yeah, I don't know if it's in the bag, but it's definitely close to the bag.
Somewhere floating around the bag.
We'll put it in the air and manifest it.
We have to manifest that. That's exactly right.
Put it in the universe. That's it. Trelvis, thank you, sir. You're always piloting this thing like to no end. We appreciate you. Love you, brother. And audience, thank you guys. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here doing this show, and we have so much fun doing it. So thank you all very much. We'll be back next week, and then I guess we'll be in Vegas the week after that. Yep. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of your week. We got about 30 days of selling left in 2021. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Wow, time is flying by, Mr. Freeman.
It is. But get out there before it gets cold. Good golf, good tennis, or whatever makes you happy. We'll see you next time on Cliff's Notes. All right, folks, tune in to Cliff's Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I guarantee it.